Hello, everybody, and welcome to Floor Planner, your welcome introduction and demo for 2025. Happy New Year to you all, and this is now January 2025. Thought we should start with a nice new fresh recording for our introduction for Floor Planner. So again, welcome. We're going to do some PowerPoint presentation first to get some of the basics of Floor Planner introduced to you. There's always a lot of questions about the structure of Floor Planner and how it works as a platform. And then the second half of this recording, we'll go ahead and give you a live demonstration of actually utilizing the Floor Planner platform. So let's get into our PowerPoint presentation, a little slideshow here. In case you didn't know, yes, my name is Bob. I am based here in the United States in just north of Washington, D.C., little state called Maryland, Eastern Standard Time here in the USA, although Floor Planner is a European-based platform out of the Netherlands, out of Rotterdam specifically, and being kind of a Dutch company that we are, not really big on job titles. So let's just say I'm here for customer success. I'm here to support you all as you develop your skill in utilizing the Floor Planner platform. A little bit about my background, because there's a lot of diversity as to whom you all are as users of the platform. Myself, I am a licensed architect here in the United States. I'm licensed down in the state of Florida, also in the state of New York. I'm a member of the American Institute of Architects. I've specialized in architectural interiors. Had the privilege of being a guest speaker for Autodesk University, talking about how to use technologies such as Floor Planner to communicate our creative design intent ideas to others with a little baseline of storytelling, which comes from another part of my career path working for the Walt Disney Company, where I worked with generation of their retail spaces here in the US and around the world for their parks and resorts. Also, I've worked in residential, commercial, I mentioned retail design. I've supported the interior design industry here in the United States, managing and directing dedicated CAD departments, groups of CAD specialists, which pretty much I took advantage of utilizing other softwares such as Autodesk, AutoCAD 2D, 3D modeling, 3ds Max, etc., for really fabulous visualization until I found Floor Planner. Floor Planner offered something that I could not supply, which would be speed to go ahead and create these still beautiful rendered images for communication, yet quickly and flexible to be able to change out design options, which occur as we meet with our clients for sure. The speed and the ease of utilizing Floor Planner and also being a web-based platform answered many of my challenges, and obviously it has done so for the world, as we now have over 30 million registered users of Floor Planner around the world, including many of the top 100 retailers here in the United States, which have also joined the Floor Planner community for the purposes and reasons that I just described. Floor Planner is a very broad offering of services inside Floor Planner. Not just building a 3D model and being able to view it in a two-dimensional floor plan or furniture floor plan, and also the three-dimensional camera views for those stunning rendering images. The diversity and expanse of Floor Planner, I'm not going to go into terrible detail right now because this is an introduction webinar. Yet, do know that there are other features inside the platform that allow you to take advantage of building your models, sending it out into the cloud, and getting back a hyperlinks that can be shared with your clients or viewed. And as long as someone's connected to the internet, they can go ahead and actually be inside the environment of your model. Can't change anything, yet they're looking around in a real-time rendered experience, so they can take a peek at your design very easy on their tablets or on their phones or on their computers or devices. These links also have a pull-down menu of all the camera views that you created, so your client can go to specific views as you wanted to show your property. There's also a play button to see a video 3D tour through the property as you directed it to be based on the camera views that you created and the order that you placed them, how you wanted to tell your story. Possibly you started with an image from the foyer to the living room to the dining room. Floor Planner does all the rest of the work and builds the animation for you. So that video is very fluid. These links also open up in virtual reality goggles, the Meta 2, Meta 3, etc., for that full virtual reality immersion. Beyond the 3D tours, we also have style boards, mood board presentations that you can create inside Floorplanner, much like we have done previously with slideshow presentations. You also have a Floorscanner app. If you have Apple products, iPhones or iPads, 12 through 16 Pro versions. The Pro versions of those devices have a LiDAR scanning device in their hardware, which our team has taken advantage of to build the Floorscanner app. And with the Floorscanner app, which is a free app, it allows you to go ahead and utilize those devices to go into the field and scan your room, which instantaneously can build a 3D model inside Floorplanner. Great way to capture as-built information on site quickly. In my days, of course, taking tape measure and laser measures and graph paper, yeah, a little laborious to do so. So the new technology is truly awesome. Again, additional features inside Floorplanner for sure, yet we talk about them more in our advanced tools webinars. So for right now, we'll stay with the intro for today. Some basics about Floorplanner as a platform and how it functions. Floorplanner is a web-based platform, meaning that it's in the cloud. So you're not downloading anything to the device that you're working on. You're technically working in the cloud. Great benefits to this is that you can go ahead and open up Floorplanner on any device. It doesn't matter if it's a Windows-driven device or if it's an Apple-driven device, a Mac or an iPad or a PC laptop or a tablet. Very awesome that you can hop even between those devices if that's the need. So you're working in the cloud on those devices. So it's very important that your internet connection is very strong, especially if you're working with a Wi-Fi signal. So make sure that you have a strong signal. Make sure that you're working with a dedicated, powerful browser based on your demographics. What's a good, strong browser for you? So your internet connection is very important as you're utilizing Floorplanner. Inside Floorplanner, the benefit is that Floorplanner has an auto-save feature. Your changes every 3 seconds are being updated and saved to the cloud in case you have a power failure or lose your internet connection. Your work will actually be saved out to the cloud. Being also a web-based platform, cloud-based benefit, like I said, hopping between devices. I'm making my presentation today with a Windows-based PC here at my home office. Yet I may need to meet with my client. So to meet with my client, I may not want to drag my computer with me. I would probably rather take something more convenient. I'll take, instead of my Windows-based PC, I would take my Apple-based iPad. Much more convenient. Take that out into the field, go ahead and connect to Floorplanner through my internet connection, and just log back into my platform. Once in my platform, all of your projects are safely stored in the cloud, and all of the exports and images that you create, your two-dimensional images, your camera views, everything is stored in the cloud, backed up in the cloud, safe in the cloud. And since it's in the cloud, it's accessible on all my devices as I'm hopping between devices. I could also go ahead while I'm possibly on a site visit, take additional as-built dimensions and edit the model that I've created and save it out to the cloud, say goodbye to my client, come on back to my home office and open up that same project and have it available now on my Windows-based PC, where I prefer to have a little bit more control with my mouse and keyboard, and make my additional edits and changes to finalize that project. So hopping between devices, very, very valuable. Although I do prefer, being an architect myself, using mouse and keyboard to get down to the minutia on details working in Floorplanner. I find that a little bit easier. Floorplanner has made advances so that when you're in the 3D view inside Floor Planner, we now have 3D handles on the objects so that you can manipulate or change its location inside Floor Planner in the 3D view, and also rotations or even changing the elevation of objects. This makes it really easy to utilize maybe a tablet or an iPad to use your finger or a stylus or an Apple Pencil to make modifications in the 3D view, which is obviously where we make our design decisions for the most part in the 3D view. So benefits, certainly. Mouse and keyboard, totally cool. And these additional benefits working within your 3D view certainly come in handy. How do you get started? Well, you all found me, so you obviously have started in some regard. There are 6 different subscription levels inside Floor Planner. Won't go too crazy about giving this information, but it's available to you through our pricings tab at our website, floorplanner.com. Yeah, so if maybe you started as a basic account with Floor Planner. It's a free entry level inside Floor Planner. Very nice to experiment and learn about Floor Planner, see what works best for you. Great offering, extremely powerful. It required an email address and a password that you created when you were in, and you're building projects, sending out exports, creating imagery. Very, very powerful for sure. There's a monetary system inside Floor Planner called credits. We are worldwide, so currencies all being different, it's easier to talk a common language. So we talk credits. Credits, for the most part, are utilized to upgrade project levels. Project levels. Determine what level of project you want to be working with depending on your needs. For the most part, project levels are about pixel count resolution of the final images that you're creating. So if you need a higher level, there's 4 different project levels. You can make that determination at the beginning of your project or during the lifespan of the project to upgrade your project as needed. Everything between the standard definition quality all the way up to an 8K quality for publication type quality, very intense, or you just want the best possible pixel count resolution of your final images. There is additional information beyond this recording at our website. So if you go to the floorplanner.com website on your device and go to the support tab noted up here in the top center, you'll have all this additional free training information available to you at your own pace, starting with the link to the Floor Planner channel on YouTube, as you're probably finding me today. And there will be this recording certainly for the intro webinar. There'll be an advanced tools recording. There'll be a 2D, 3D camera settings recording out there also. Again, videos that you can turn on and off in advance to get to the specifics of information that you may be looking for. Take it again at your own pace. Floor Planner is not a stagnant program. It keeps evolving. The programmers over in the Netherlands take full advantage of the new tech as it comes available and introduce new features and tools appropriately inside the platform. We also get a lot of feedback from the top 100 retailers here in the US and from around the world as they find for their business and industry other opportunities that would help them in our platform. We make changes as we can, and these updates occur sometimes weekly, monthly. These changes happen automatically inside the platform. So there's nothing you have to do to achieve them. They will be introduced inside your platform. Yet it's nice to know what were those updates. There's a link right here for product updates. That's a nice short list. Actually go all the way back into the past year if you like to. Scroll through and see if there's anything you missed. They're very short little descriptives that really help you understand what's new inside the platform so you can explore them further. There's also a PDF document that you can download. It's a reference manual. We call it an editor manual, about 80 pages or so long. Very nice to have that information alongside as you continue to develop your technique inside Floor Planner. The document also has a single page in there that I find extremely valuable that would encourage you to print out. It's your shortcut hotkeys for your keyboard. It's a short list, but very powerful. So it's nice to keep that alongside so you can help as you develop your technique inside Floor Planner with those shortcuts. I think it'll speed you along even more. Live webinars. This is a recorded webinar, obviously, yet we do offer live webinars on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And they are the 3 different flavors, obviously, the intro webinar, the advanced tools webinar, and the 2D, 3D camera settings. Those webinars are free. You can register for them. They are Zoom webinars. And the links for them are actually on your desktop. I'll show you where those are later. You can register for those as many times as you'd like to. This is very important for us at Floor Planner so that we could give you a venue that you could go to and see the platform as it exists currently on that day. Because again, with the changes that occur, recording updates get to be a little meticulous. So it's nice to have a source that you can actually go to and actually see the platform as it exists at that moment. So we've been doing these live webinars for about 5 years now, and we continue to do so going forward. There's also a contact form that you can send maybe a technical question to the support team over in the Netherlands with the platform. So if you had a question that occurred and you're like, oh, why is this happening? Or this light's not illuminating, or the little technical issue, you can go ahead and just go ahead and open up that contact form and you can send a message straight away to the programmers in the Netherlands through the support team. They'll address that, get you an answer back. And I think you'd be surprised how fast and how responsive the company is. We like to get information to make sure we're on top of it. Possibly you saw an observation that got missed by others. So always nice to communicate that. Your contact form, the only request in there is to make sure that you type your message in English or in Dutch. There's also an FAQ in there, kind of, like an artificial intelligence, smarter, gaining more intelligence as it goes forward. It's a question answer, frequently asked questions list that keeps getting more information as we get more questions. So it gets additional population inside there. I think you'll find that others that have asked maybe similar questions, you'll find your answers in there with references as to how to address any of the concerns in the FAQ. When you log into your Floor Planner account for the first time, you will see in the upper left-hand corner, there is on your dashboard, or on your home page, there is a dashboard tab. When you select that dashboard tab, you'll gain this right-hand sidebar. With the right-hand sidebar, you'll have the ability to register for the live webinars. It's a radio button up there at the bottom that you can hop between the 3 different flavors as we talked about. The new features, as they're listed also through our website, they're also listed here with the most current new feature at the top. There's a More On button over there that you can go to. That'll take you to the same list of all the updates. Fun, there is a link to Instagram, 30 million registered users. There's a lot of beautiful imagery being created inside Floor Planner, and we like to share that to inspire you, show you what's possible utilizing Floor Planner. So it's fun to see what others have done through this link. There's also the link for those videos that are recorded on the Floor Planner channel on YouTube. The More On button down there in the lower right-hand corner will take you to that also. And the featured video, kind of fun. We try to monthly make an additional recording, try to keep it short, 10 or 15 minutes, to talk about the advances and new features that occurred in the previous month. So not only are they listed and as to be informed, yet we actually show you how to utilize them. So we're trying to give you every possible piece of new information to make you as skilled as possible utilizing Floor Planner. The 3 different flavors of live webinars and where to find them. And the subscriptions. Okay, there are 6 different subscription levels inside Floor Planner. You are one of them, starting with the basic, or the basic plus or pro for single one-person users to the account. Basic is a free offering. obviously intended so that you could use this as a casual user of this technology and to learn how it works and see if this is the right fit for you, and then figure out professionally where you might need to fit into the other possible upgraded subscriptions. The basic subscription for 2025 has modified from what it has been in the past. Floor Planner started back in 2007. We've always wanted to offer a free offering inside Floor Planner, which is the basic level account. And to continue this offering going forward, we have made some changes and some enhancements, which have made it better. You have the ability to generate 5 free projects, which are extremely powerful inside Floor Planner. Those 5 projects, we've enhanced the features so that you have more tools available to you. You can build a multi-story project up to 3 stories. You also have the ability to work with our favorites option and also our groups option. I think you find it extremely valuable. You are also able, as a basic account, because it's free and you are not really purchasing any credits, as we talked about the credit system earlier, credits can be purchased for minimal purchases. You could buy 5 credits, price as noted up there in US dollars, $1.58 per credit as it stands for my presentation today. And it's minimal, but you can utilize those credits for those upgrades that I talked about earlier. So even a basic account can acquire credits if you care to. Other single one-person users to accounts would be the Plus or Pro account. Plus gives you additional features. All these features that I'm talking about, as you're seeing on your screen, are available to you at the floorplanner.com website under the pricings tab at the top. Additional data is available for you that you can view at your leisure there. But this is just a quick overview. You now have unlimited favorites to go ahead and create with your Plus account, and the credits that are being issued. Notice that the credit expense, the cost actually goes down as your subscription level goes up, which is another great benefit. Pro accounts. If you're utilizing Floor Planner for professional purposes for your business, I'm going to highly recommend that you do go ahead and look at the Pro account offering out there. Least expensive of the credits, absolutely, and all these additional features. Customizing your templates, your title blocks, your watermark, many items that will allow you to go ahead and actually present your business, not the Floor Planner logo on your particular products. It's all about your business as a pro account. Lots of additional benefits inside the pro account for sure. So do take a peek at that if you're thinking professional purposes for use of Floor Planner. When you go to a group of users, these are the remaining 3 subscription levels. It's a team, business, or enterprise account. This is more than one person on an account. Teams accounts go up to 10 users on the account. Business accounts go up to 100 users on the account. Enterprise accounts are unlimited users on the account. Seeing, of course, the additional benefits of features and tools in those, and also the cost of the credit going down. There's something unique about business and enterprise accounts that I want to mention. They're more corporate account, vendor accounts, retailer accounts. Because I always get the question saying, hey, Bob, I have a specific object that I want to put inside my Floor Planner platform to utilize it. Can I get the 3D model and download it from some other website and just put it inside Floor Planner? Or could I have this built somehow in 3D and utilize it inside Floor Planner? Kind of a yes/no answer. The yes part is that only business and enterprise accounts can contract with Floor Planner to do so. Meaning, as a business or enterprise account, you can go ahead and gain a model, possibly from another 3D company that had already built the model. You can submit that to Floor Planner to contract to have it optimized and then placed into Floor Planner for your use. Or Floor Planner has an incredible team of its own modelers, which are extremely cost effective and all the quality that we certainly need and expect. And they've done this for a very long time, so it's really, really cool. But you can request and contract with Floorplanner to build the 3D model and then optimize it and have it placed inside the platform for your usage. Something that's been very, very nice and exciting about business enterprise accounts as they build these additional model pieces is that they are sharing them. Many of them are sharing them with the Floorplanner community of over 30 million users, mainly for a marketing endeavor. So it's really, really cool that these are real products from these brands and or vendors out there that they've chosen to share with the entire Floorplanner community. So in addition to the close to 300,000 general three-dimensional objects that are inside Floorplanner, the furniture, the accessories, the unicorns, the puppy dogs, the T-Rexes, the dinosaurs. Yes, it's actually all inside our library. Yet having these brands accessible to you also of real products from real vendors and furniture companies as they are being shared with their own design teams. You also have access to those. Those additional pieces, tens of thousands, I think somewhere around 80,000 additional pieces currently, but it does keep growing. Those pieces being real products have some additional features available in them that they can change out their materials and finishes, many of them. So you have really, really an extensive library of objects and three-dimensional objects that you can certainly utilize inside your platform. Very, very valuable. No matter what subscription level you are, including myself, I'm actually an enterprise account myself. We all, including myself, have to make determinations when we build a project. What project level will it be, or if I need to elevate it to a higher level for other purposes, we can do so. SD Lite project levels are available only to the basic and plus accounts. As I mentioned, there's 5 free projects as SD Lites. Those SD Lites do have some restrictions to them. You can only generate a 2-dimensional document as an 8.5 by 11 letter size sheet, scale to fit proportionally correct to the page, resolution, standard definition resolution. Good, but we can do better for sure. The Floorplanner watermark is on there. It's not branded for you. It's actually branded for Floorplanner and the 3 floors as we talked about currently. When you start with a higher level project, an actual paid for level project, now this is special and required for pro account subscriptions up through enterprise. You're starting your projects at least as a paid for level SD level project, which requires 2 credits to do so. You certainly saw the cost of the credits earlier. I would say worldwide less than a cup of coffee for sure. Extremely inexpensive investment, yet the power inside this one project that you've created is incredible. An SD level paid for level project for those 2 credits, you can build a multi-story project up to 7 stories. And I think more valuable for us as designers is that you can go ahead and build multiple designs, meaning that you built 1 room in your project or multiple rooms on a single floor in your project. And you made your presentation to your client. The client says, "Hey, Bob, great presentation. Really liked it. Yay, fantastic. Yet, could you show me some options? I just like to see options." Typical client response. So yes, you can. You can go ahead and take that 1 room or multiple rooms and you can duplicate it inside the same one project and change out the furniture selections, change the space planning, change the colors and finishes and materials, even change out the architecture and call it Bob's option 2. Go back to the original, duplicate it again in the same one project, call it Bob's option 3 and change it out for another option variable. Doing this up to 10 different designs. Wow. Per floor of the same project. 7-story project, 10 designs per floor, 70 designs, 70. 70. A little exorbitant for a presentation to a client. We never want to give our client that much confusion. But there are other reasons why multiple designs will come in handy when we talk more advanced, talking about different dedicated camera views, some exceptional items that may change some architecture. Yeah, it's nice to have those variables available to you for sure, multiple designs. Yay. Your exports, yes, you can still do the JPEG two-dimensional image of your 3D model as a 8.5 by 11 sheet scale to fit. You gain a new option as a paid-for level project, as an SD level project. You can now choose to send out your two-dimensional document, your furniture floor plans, as a PDF. Yay, PDF, great. Nice pixel count resolution in a PDF. And as that PDF, you have additional options inside Floorplanner to change the layout sheet size. I'm going to talk imperial dimensions, as that's how I work here in the US. So we're going to talk about 8.5 by 11 letter size sheet option, 11 by 17-inch ledger size sheet, and 18-inch by 24-inch architectural architectural C size sheet. Sorry about that. And then, of course, the 24-inch by 36-inch architectural D size sheet, plotter size sheets. Okay, so I've got 4 different sheet sizes that you can change to. Scale to fit. Yes. And you can go ahead and send them out to a measurable scale. 16th inch equals a foot, really teeny. 1/8 inch equals a foot. 1/4 inch equals a foot, which is kind of our standard USA interior design presentation scale. If you need something larger, you can send it out as a 1/2 inch equals a foot. Those scalable PDF documents can also be downloaded to the device that you're working on and sent to your printers or your plotters. Be careful when you're sending one of those documents out. It's very important that you change your settings in your device, that you are sending to print as a borderless full bleed document. No margins, no border around it, because the scale is actually being created based on the sheet size. So if you make any adjustments to that, you're actually changing the scale and it's not correct. You can also put an architectural scaling block on those documents as a request, a little toggle switch selection for that, which is beneficial that when it comes out of your printer or your plotter, you can just take your physical scale to it just to confirm that your device is communicating properly to your printer to give you the scale document that you are requesting. These project files, that's one project, the one cost, one time, also has the ability as an SD level, paid for level project to export as an FML file format, which is becoming more industry standard. Yet right now, our FMLs will only open as a project ownership inside Floorplanner. Although all these are also stored in the cloud, and because they're in the cloud and backed up in the cloud and safe in the cloud, they're accessible on all your devices. But if you needed a copy for some reason, you could do so. Something a little bit more interchangeable is to take your 3D model that's out the cloud and request a DXF file. A DXF file, if you're familiar with the term, DXF files are interchangeable, certainly with Autodesk products, which is great. What the file is, you have a 3D model you created inside Floorplanner, you're going to get a DXF file, which will be a 2-dimensional plan of the structure, not the furniture, vector line. Nice translation from Floorplanner to DXF. I've done this myself, taking things into AutoCAD, and it works really, really nice. I'm very happy with it. But currently, right now, it is just structure, vector line, no furniture, DXF file. The rendering qualities obviously improve that are available to you as an SD level project. Yet we can do better. The SD, HD, 4K, 8K, what's the difference? All the benefits that I just mentioned as you crossed over from SD Lite are still applicable all the way across the board. You're using the Blender rendering engine everywhere. You have equally photorealistic images of your 3-dimensional camera views and your renders. They're all perfectly beautiful, realistic. So the only difference is the pixel count. The pixel count resolution of that final image. When you pixelize, if it's pixelated, it's it looks these colors, squares. You want it to be as refined as possible. Your better qualities for your client level presentations for sure. Top 100 retailers here in the US have determined that HD level is really a good client level presentation for the pixel count, more than acceptable. So an HD level elevation of your project when you're ready for that client level presentation, great idea, or starting at the very beginning with your project. 4K and 8K. You want the best image, go for 8K. Just it's you zoom in on details and it's fantastic. But maybe 4K for a 70-inch flat screen TV that you're going to go ahead and make a presentation to your client and you're going to zoom in on details. And you just want to make it as clear as possible. 4K is a benefit. 8K certainly for publications, or you really want that absolute best image, very intense as an 8K level. All available to you. You can upgrade a project at any point during the lifespan of that project, so you make a determination to do so when needed. Usage-based pricing, fair and simple. All this information, again, is available to you through the pricings tab at the floorplanner.com website. But just, as a quick, briefing in here, the light projects are free. The SD levels are 2 levels, and 3 more credits up would be the HD and the 4K and the 8K. Style boards, to create the style boards, 2 credits to do so, and the 3D tours that I mentioned earlier would be one time, like an a la carte upgrade to your project of the 5 credits, and then you can actually build multiple 3D tours with that same upgrade. So you could change the story, change the camera views, change the order of how you want to tell your story, and create another hyperlink. So pretty simple, pretty outlined, but you determine, what you need and when you need it. This is just elaborating on everything else we just spoke of, kind of giving you a visual. When you are a non-professional account, as I said, starting with the SD Lite option that's out there and your ability through the screen to go ahead and purchase more credits when needed to do so if you wanted to go ahead, and because you had no credits as a basic holder, but you can purchase credits as you go forward. If you are already a pro or higher, as I noted, the determination is you're going to start with at least an SD level project, and your ability to start a project to change to an HD 4K 8K at the beginning, or to edit that information later. When you select a project from your projects list, you'll get on the left-hand side one option in that stack to be a edit and upgrade button. If you select that, you get this window. So kind of like starting a new project, but you already have an existing project. You can edit the details. You can change and elevate the project level or add that complement of the enabling the 3D tours, or maybe you spelled the client's name wrong and you needed to edit that information, or even adding the address of a location. You don't have to do that to start a project. Maybe you got the address later. You could actually go back and edit this information. Once you make any of these modifications inside here, always remember you're working in the cloud, not technically on your device. So always update your project and send that information out to the cloud so any of these changes will take effect. Quality of the images, I just can't speak highly enough of it. This is a simple room that I put together, dragged the furniture in there, set the camera view, and sent out the rendering. Again, all equally photorealistic, all using the Blender rendering engine, just the pixel count resolution, but the quality. I've done this with other softwares, and the labor time that it takes and the computer rendering time that it takes to create this with other softwares was too slow for me. Some of my renderings with other softwares can take me still a day to 2 days to make one beautiful rendering. Your renderings inside Floorplanner are coming back to you as fast as 20 seconds because we're working in the cloud. You're actually working with a bank of computers that are huge. I think they're over in Germany and Ireland, because of the power to get back your rendering so quickly, and then say, oh, I want to make some edits or changes to my light level, or I didn't like where the furniture was, or I didn't like my camera angle, and send it out to have it re-rendered, or your client made some changes to the design and I had to re-render the image. Yeah, you can get it back so fast. This was very important to me and obviously very important to many of our users. Phenomenal value for sure in getting those qualities. You're always building a 3D model inside Floorplanner, yet you can view it in 2D. So there's different options in your 2D. Any of these options are selecting an icon or a toggle switch selection. Simple, nothing you had to do. So if you selected to go ahead and do something fun and do a blueprint mode, it's neat, very architectural looking. You can do so by selecting that. My preference is more of the black and white line drawings, the solid hatch post shade walls. I think that this is a very strong dynamic presentation. The accuracy is intense based on the information you told it. So it's as accurate as you tell it to be. Where did you get your measurements? Did you physically go out to the location and maybe take a tape measure, laser measure, wrote it down? Or did you get it from a floor plan, an architectural floor plan, as in plan to be built? Or were you lucky enough to be able to find something that's called an as-built document, meaning that the architect actually went back to the project after it was built, remeasured it, redrafted it, made an entirely new set of documents, stamped them all with the term as-built as of a certain date and time. This is the newest information of that property. Of course, it still could have changed. Maybe the client came on in with a marketing sheet, little 8.5 by 11, really pretty color pictures and such. Okay, I brought you the floor plan. It's a marketing sheet. So be careful. Graphics people have gotten their hands on that and maybe did a little manipulation or stated their dimensions as being rounded off. If that's all you got, it's the best that you have, and you can work with that, which is great. But be cautious of the information that you gather, because everything's going to look true when you put it inside Floorplanner. It's as true as you told it to be. You can always make changes to this model inside Floorplanner as you gain additional information, but it's always better to start with the best that you possibly can. The rooms and areas that you created, such as the bedroom, don't know what they are until you tell them what they are. These are called room types. You can actually click inside the room and you can assign the room type. Right now, the room types will say unknown, and you can take from the pull down menu, say, hey, I'm a house and I'm a bedroom. Great. You can also edit that information. I could retype that to be primary bedroom or Susan's bedroom or David's bedroom, guest bedroom. Yet the room will still know it is a bedroom. Knowing what it is, it also has an associated color, different colors. So it's a color blocking system. So if you assign your room types to all of your rooms, you can change a click of the switch and say, show me the color block diagram, as it would be a different presentation level. This is great for real estate agents, obviously, and also for interior designers for preliminary concept as to describe what areas we're going to be working in color blocked. The three-dimensional objects, as I said, from our general library, a Floorplanner, 300,000 of them out there. It's hard to keep track because we keep getting more and more. Many of these items have the ability to change their dimensions. You can change the width, depth, and height of the three-dimensional object. So if you don't find the exact object for some reason, or you have to work with a client's existing piece of furniture and you have to work around that design, find something that looks similar to your client's existing sofa, place it inside Floorplanner and edit its size to be the exact dimensions of the real piece, the width, depth, and height. Very fast, you can do so. When dragging them into your actual plan and viewing them in 2D, you have a few different options as to how you're going to view them. One of them is a wireframe drawing, black and white line drawing. This is my favorite. These are very clean. They're non-committal. You're not actually dictating a color or material as yet. So you're just talking about space planning and what works in a two-dimensional representation. And you can also then hop over with a change of a flick of a switch, just show the materials. Show the materials that you placed on your flooring. Also, if you made any modifications or changes to any of the objects, materials, or colors. This will also show in the two-dimensional document, still a scalable 2D document. When you hop to the 3D view, you go to your first view, which is a dollhouse view. It's a perspective view looking straight down on top of the property. And these render really, really beautifully. They're no longer a scalable document because they're a perspective view for sure, but these are very dynamic images. Clients love them because they understand them. Very, 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 very beautiful level of inspiration of presentation. The model I showed you is a real condo down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, beautiful, sunny South Florida. And that model, um, maybe you did the space planning. You did the layout and you did your adjacencies and the clearances in between them, and you studied it, and we did it correctly. But what does it look like? What does it look like when you stand on one side of the room and look across the room and you're trying to judge the different heights of the pieces, not just two-dimensionally, but three-dimensionally, or even the interior decor style of those individual pieces? How do they relate to each other? Does this look right? To make those decisions and study your space as an added value for your client and for yourself is to go ahead and generate perspective preview images. You can place as many camera views inside Floorplanner as you care to. You can go ahead and look across the room from, like, I'm looking from the kitchen to the dining room, living room to the balcony out to the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, these are not rendered images. These are not the final beautiful images, the exports and renders. These are preview images. So create as many as you care to as you study the space, the added value of the fact that you can study the space. Share them with other designers that are on your team, if you're a team of designers, to communicate amongst yourselves or just for your own sake. Use them as progressive concept images as presentation with your client to make sure you're in sync and going the right direction with the design as to where the client is expecting it to go and where you think it should be going. When you actually get ready to start rendering these images, the photorealism starts kicking in. Send these out to the cloud for an export render. Then the mirrors start reflecting, the metals reflect, the glass reflects, and transparencies. Lights and lamps inside the room, the artificial lighting can be turned on and off independently of each other. They all have dimmer switches on them independently, so you can set the feeling inside the room. The sun, natural sunlight. You can change the times of day and the angle of the sun. So we could get the sun low in the sky for morning, let it come through our window, roll across our furniture, make beautiful cast shadows in addition to the artificial light in the room. And I always get the question, hey, Bob, my image looked a little too bright. My image looked a little too dark. It's very subjective, certainly. I like to keep it a little low myself, so the other artificial lighting looks really cool. Yet you can tweak the sun's intensity. So the sun shine on this side of the sliding glass door inside the room. You can make it a little brighter, a little darker, a little slide that you can make those adjustments as you tweak your light levels to be the way you want them to show. Views outside the window. Yeah, we have a gallery of views, which has increased in the past year and beyond 100 now. It used to just be a handful. And you still have the original basic classics that are out there still. It's the horizon line where the land meets the sky outside the window. Nice thing about this is Floorplanner using the gallery views will take care of placing the horizon line at the proper level. Proper level, meaning no matter what floor of a building you are on and you're looking outside the window, a fact of nature is that the horizon line, where the sky meets the land, actually follows your eye level. Kind of cool. Which is your camera height. So this is happening naturally, which makes your image look more realistic because it's a fact of nature. So Floorplanner will take care of that for you. As I mentioned, this is a beautiful condo down in South Florida looking over the Atlantic Ocean. That does not look like the Atlantic Ocean. That's a green field out there and a little blue sky. If you want to show your actual image, you can upload your own, you can upload your own JPEG PNG image outside the window. This is the actual view from this particular condo. I stood on that balcony, took my iPhone, took the picture, took the JPEG, put it to my computer, and associated it with my camera view inside Floorplanner for this model. For those of you that are in the real estate industry, yes, it is an extremely honest image. It really is the image, so much so Honestly, that big white building out there is blocking the view partially to the ocean view outside. Yet, that view is true and honest. And when you start putting a realistic view outside, your client is relating to your image obviously more. And even the interior realism of the rendered image inside starts taking on even more value. So using a real view outside the window, totally awesome. And or even adjusting the light levels, daytime, nighttime scenes. You can tweak those accordingly. The quality again of the images, I'm just impressed, as I always have been. It's probably one of the first things that wowed me with Floor Planner many years ago to say, how do they do that? I know what it takes for me to do that. How are they doing that so fast? It's a platform, and you take full advantage of it to get this level quality imagery. Really cool. 3D tours, as I mentioned earlier, really, really awesome. I think I kind of described that pretty well previously. I'm going to hop into this just real fast to show you. This is one of those links. As I mentioned, I embedded it into a PowerPoint presentation here for demonstration purposes, and we're doing this together. We're actually going inside the cloud right now, inside this project, inside this 3D tour. Being in the cloud, it's a fully real-time rendered experience. Yay. Yet, I'm using a mouse and keyboard. I can navigate around inside this space. I can click on the floor and go somewhere else, teleport myself across the room. I can use my mouse to look up and down in this full real-time render experience of this model. Go over to the dining room, check out the view, Boca Raton, Florida out there, really cool. We can hop out onto the balcony if we want to. The mirrors reflect. And the kitchen. Again, I have full reign to go around inside this room and start studying the space as a design as whoever has access to this link. The link also in the pull down menu, the actual dedicated named camera views. We could say, I want to go back to this camera called coffee break from the kitchen looking outward. I can also hit the play button up there and no hands, just sit back and watch the video tour from camera view to camera view, and Floor Planner does the animation in between those as you want to tell your story and guide your client through your property. Again, this is all being achieved just with the shared hyperlink as we just opened it up, as I embedded it into the PowerPoint presentation. These links, of course, will open also in virtual reality goggles for the full immersion experience out there. And we can, again, travel through the space and pick it up again and start over. I'm going to close that out for right now. And let's continue. Floorscanner app. Really, really cool. I'm not going to go too crazy about this today because I really want to get to our demonstration part for our actual use of the project. But know that the Floorscanner app is available out there. The app is free based on the technology of the 12 through 16 Pro version iPhones and iPads because of the LiDAR scanning device that's actually in the cameras. I'm going to show you just a little teaser on this, a little video of playing out. I do show this in length at our advanced tools webinar, that when you start a project, as you're actually looking at my phone going into a room, opening up the app, you identify the fact of what kind of room are you doing, how many floors are you scanning, are you doing multiple rooms. So what I just said I was going to do a bedroom and a closet, then you just hit the start scanning button and you just point your device phone around the room. And Apple's technology actually takes over at this point and starts registering the ceiling height, the volumes of the furniture in the room. Yes, it will identify it as a bed by its size, not the specific SKU, but actual pieces. Importantly, it's capturing the room, the windows, the doors, the ceiling height, the floor. It's actually scanning. You see the 3D model being created at the bottom at the same time. Again, I'm going to stop this for right now because we have more to talk about today, but I know that I have a more in-depth overview of the Floorscanner app in our advanced tools webinars. You also have Styleboards, mood board presentations that you can create inside Floorplanner. As I mentioned, like with previous slideshows like PowerPoint, et cetera, or in my old day of cutting out a board and cutting out magazine pictures and pasting them to that and putting a fabric sample and a paint sample and a flooring sample. And it's like, here's my concept board for your living room as a concept. Well, we started doing them with technology, doing them with PowerPoint presentations or Photoshop or slideshows. Yet, Floorplanner can do that also internally. So you can make a style board, mood board presentation inside Floorplanner. A little more valuable that since you have the 3D models inside Floorplanner, you can choose the view. So instead of my limits of cutting out a magazine picture, you can actually say, do I want the front view of that sofa or an angle view, perspective view, side view, top view, whatever it is you're trying to communicate on your document. Paint sample, yes. Flooring sample, yes. Or uploading any JPEG, PNG image, concept inspiration image, etc. These boards, as being two-dimensional flat boards for presentation, very valuable, certainly, yet they also in Floorplanner have intelligence. We can select the upholstered piece of furniture in this room and give it an intelligence through the magic layout option. I can tell that upholstered piece that it actually is a sofa. I can tell the table that's in front of the sofa that that table is a coffee table. By assigning these roles or telling the paint that it is the wall paint and the wood that it is the flooring, by assigning these roles, it's still a flat board, but it's smart. You can get a collection of many of these style boards in time, and you can reuse them. So if I started a brand new project, empty room, etc., I could say, that was a great starting point for that style, contemporary, whatever. I can take that board and actually insert it and apply it to that empty room. That board would then auto-populate that empty room with the flooring material where it belongs, the paint and such on the walls, and the furniture will be in the room, ready to be moved, yet it will place itself based on some simple logic, geometric sort of algorithms. So we're not going to put a sofa in front of the door. And the coffee table will know that it's supposed to be in front of the sofa, a certain distance. So there is some simple logic. It's not going to displace an interior designer by any means. It's not full artificial intelligence. Yet to populate a room that fast and a basic structure that you can then make your decisions to move the items around, delete certain items, add from other collections, very fast launching point for you. So Styleboards, not just a dumb flat board. They're smart. There's an intelligence associated with them inside Floorplanner. I'll leave it there. And also don't forget about that shortcut hotkeys that I talked about earlier and the editor manual that you can download. Short list, but very powerful. Try to keep that handy as you go forward. Something extra, if we have a little time at the end, I'll try to tuck this in. I typically talk about this in our advanced tools webinar. Has a unique ability inside Floorplanner. You have an entire library of materials and finishes and paints inside Floorplanner that you can utilize, yet fashion keeps changing so fast and wallpapers get discontinued and new wallpapers come on board and new murals and new artwork. Yeah. If you have something new or something that you have from your clients that you must work with, wallpaper, a mural, a picture of your client's artwork that you have to design around, anything in a JPEG or PNG image, you can upload it into your platform and you can utilize it whenever you need to. It'll be in your custom library of materials that you can apply to wall surfaces. You can scale them, you can repeat them horizontally or vertically or both directions to wallpaper the entire wall. So you're not limited. You can actually utilize brand new materials or murals or artwork to place on your wall surfaces. Quite awesome. So let's get started. Let's actually hop into our platform, and you're looking over my shoulder. Enterprise account shouldn't look that different than any of your accounts out there. Starting on the left-hand side, there's the dashboard tab in the upper left-hand corner that I mentioned earlier. It tells you all about you and your account, and of course the right-hand sidebar. The projects tab, this is where we're going to build a project. When you hit projects, this shows you all of your projects that you've created. You can single click on any one project and you get that edit and upgrade button on the left-hand side and also additional tools that you can apply to that particular project. I'll leave that up to you to investigate. But we're going to go ahead and create a brand new project. So let's say hit the Create Project tab. I'm going to try to make this look more like most of yours. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and make an SD level project. And that's the first paid for level. And I'm going to do it with no template or title block because not everybody has titles and templates, which pro accounts and higher, of course. I'm going to give this as an SD level project a name. And we're going to call it Robert for today, Robert B. And we could add an address, but we don't have to. If you're a pro accountant hire, we can talk about multiple templates, but give it a name, give it a level, 2 credit expense for me right now. And I'm going to say, start the project. Goes out into the cloud, and we are about to get started. Shortcuts at the very beginning. There's 3 different decisions to make, 3 different shortcuts. One will take you to a room wizard, which you can pick the shape of the room. It'll ask you how wide is your room, how deep is your room, how high is your ceiling, how thick are your walls, what type of room are we doing, is it a living room, dining room? Because it asks you the questions. If you happen to have built Styleboards, you'll see the Styleboards at this point. You could actually pick one before you even see the project, and then it'll populate, and that's the project you start with. Again, a shortcut. Uploading a 2-dimensional floor plan. If you have a JPEG, PNG, or PDF representation image of the floor plan of the project you're working with, maybe you got from your architect, your builder, you went online to a real estate agent's website, downloaded a JPEG image of a floor plan, or you had that marketing sheet and you scanned it and sent yourself a copy, JPEG, PNG, or PDF, you can insert it inside Floorplanner, scale it to real world scale, and drag your furniture in 2D view right on top of that image and just do your space planning, and you're done. Or you can see where the walls are and where the doors are and where the windows are, and you can just trace it very, very fast. You don't have to insert a 2-dimensional floor plan, but I find it extremely valuable, and we're going to use that for our demonstration today, knowing that you could do everything I'm going to show you without a background as a guide to trace. So I think you'll enjoy that for sure. But again, just shortcuts. Nothing you can't do in an empty plan. So I prefer to start with an empty plan and maybe not do the shortcuts, but it's yours to explore for sure. So let's cover an empty plan for sake of time today. Welcome to Floorplanner. You can only have one project open at a time. And if you forget which project you opened, you're going to actually have it listed up here at the top. There's your namesake. We called it Robert B. Okay. You can view your project in 2D or 3D, although you're always building a 3D model, but we're viewing it in 2D right now, 2D or 3D. You can toggle between the 2 icons in the upper right-hand corner. The background image out here in 2D is a graph paper. I'm zooming in and out. I'm using my mouse with the roller wheel in the center for my zoom feature. It's my preference. You have a plus and minus over here for zooming in and zooming out. And you have that bullseye over there, which is a zoom extents button. If you click on that bullseye when you're in 2D or 3D, maybe you got lost along the way, it will center your project on your screen. Comes in really, really handy for sure. So zoom extents button if you ever get lost or if you just want to center on your screen for sure. This little crosshair out there, you're like wondering what that is. It's a reference point. It's an origin point. When we get to the point of talking about multiple stories, multiple floors above and below each other, that point of reference is the exact same point above and below itself. So it comes in handy as a reference point, although I have some other tips and tricks for exact placement more for our advanced webinar when we get forward. The 2D view that we're in right now, as I showed you earlier, has the options to show it as a black and white cookie up there. That's your black and white line drawing, the wireframe drawing. The blue and blue circle up there did the color blocking system based on the room types that were assigned. And the full spectrum up there is just that. It's the full spectrum, all colors and materials shown in your 2-dimensional document. 2D or 3D have a unique button for each one. 2D settings button or 3D settings button. The settings button looks like 2 little toggle switches, which that's all they are. They're just simple little toggle switches to make a decision of adding a new setting. These are your power tools inside Floorplanner. Learn them, get accustomed to them. Don't be afraid of them. I think you're going to find them extremely valuable. I'll show you a run here real quick for 2D settings. If you go to 2D settings, you have general settings, furniture settings, lighting settings, text settings, dimension settings, debugging settings. So like in general settings, they're just toggle switches, like the grid and graph paper in the background. I don't want it to show right now. I can turn it off, or I can turn it on. Furniture, I can turn the furniture off if there's furniture in the model, turn it on. Lighting settings, text settings, etc. 3D, there's unique settings for 3D too, which are extremely valuable. Play with these, learn what they do, but do me one favor. Put them back the way you found them until you get very comfortable utilizing them, because you, like me, may turn something off and wonder why it doesn't work anymore. It's like, I usually get the question with the 3D settings, cutaway walls. It's like, my walls are gone. Yes, your cutaway walls is turned on. So be cautious, be aware of what you're working with, but don't be afraid of them. Definitely learn them and utilize them. I think you'll find incredible value. Big orange button in the upper right-hand corner. If you're in 2D or 3D, that's your export image button. That's where you're going to start the rendering going out to the cloud, the actual export to be rendered 2D image, PDF, JPEG, or your three-dimensional interior images as JPEG images. Then there's the name of your project. Upper left-hand corner, yeah, it's a save button, a little green check mark in there. It's going to turn into a gray circle periodically as you're working. Like I said, every 3 seconds with your changes, your project's being automatically resaved. There's nothing you have to do with that button. You don't have to play with it. Save is being taken care of for you. If you do click on the save button, though, you do have an interesting tool. You can go back in time. If you wanted to restore your project, as we started this project minutes ago, I could restore it back time-wise. This will change to hours. This will change to days. This will change to weeks. You can restore a project backwards if you cared to. I don't utilize this very often. Nice to know it's there if I ever needed to. And that was just a matter of clicking on the save button, but that's the only purpose why you would be doing that. You have an undo button. If you did something you didn't want to do, you could undo backwards many steps. Or you went too many steps backwards, you have a redo button to redo your undos. You have a white sheet of paper up there. Be careful. That white sheet of paper is an erase button. It will erase your entire project. Again, don't do that very often myself, but it's nice to know that it's available. It will not delete your project. It will just erase it. So it's not a start over, sort of not start new project. No, it is an erase button for the existing project. So be cautious with that. You have a dashboard button in the upper left-hand corner when you want to close this project and go back to your home page, the dashboard where we started, where your projects are stored, your exports are stored, your styleboards are stored, and the formal location to log out of Floorplanner. That's your button. Take you back to your home page. Stack over here on the left-hand side starts with a project tab. You are in one project right now. The project tab tells you about the project you're actually in. So if I select the project tab, if you're an SD level project or higher, remember you can build up to a 7-story stack project. Cool. And as I mentioned before, more valuable, multiple designs. We have one design currently inside this one SD level project, but we can build up to 10 different designs per floor of this project. So there's no design here right now, but it's empty. So I want to duplicate an empty design. We could go ahead and down here at the bottom, go down to duplicate. I'm going to duplicate this design and make this 2 designs. So I say duplicate this design that's empty. And all of a sudden I have 2 designs. Great, I can get this up to 10. Now, where are those designs? If you select the Designs tab, you're going to get preview images. Of course, they're empty right now. You'll get preview images of what those designs are, and up to 10, you can go ahead and choose which design option you want to be working on at that moment. Little star in there is actually your default. If you highlight that, this will be your default style that you're working with, your design that you're working on for this particular project, and that's will be the one that shows up at the beginning. You can, while that's selected, now we're working with the first design. If I wanted to rename that, I could actually go down to the edit details down there and I could change the name. Bob's Design 1, Bob's Design 2, etc. You can make these modifications. Just hit the save button up there when you're done, or your enter button. So multiple designs. That's how you create them. That's how you get back to view them. There's a lot of other power tools in here based on the design that you're working on, but a little bit more complicated, more than what we're going to share today, just so they're there. Build command. Yes, this is where we're going to build your structure, your walls, your doors, your windows, tracing a background, two-dimensional floor plans, structural items, fireplaces, and other architectural elements, or upload that 2D floor plan. That's where we're going to go in a moment. Info. Placing labels, text boxes on your two-dimensional document, or architectural symbols and signs from our library. Drawing lines. A little crazy. You're building a 3D model all the time inside Floorplanner, but drawing a line, sometimes you need a line in 2D. A dashed line, a thick line, a thin line, a red line, a blue line, a purple line. Yes, you can do so. Drawing dimensions. There's automated dimensions occurring inside Floorplanner all the time. You can turn them on and off in the settings buttons, yet sometimes you need a specific dimension from one point to another point. You can enter as many specific dimensions as you care to. Maybe you needed a clearance for a wheelchair and you needed 3 feet and you need to make sure that's totally there. Yes, you can add your own dimensions. Objects, finally, the 3D objects inside Floorplanner are much more interesting. Categories. Yes, I said there's close to 300,000 or so general objects inside Floorplanner that you can modify their dimensions, yet they're subclassified in here to help you uncover them a little bit easier, including, the people and animals, the T-Rexes, the puppy dogs, the unicorns. Yeah, they're in there. You can search up here by name. It's a Boolean search engine. So when the model piece was created by whomever or whoever requested it, its general name, specific SKU, vendor name, style. Yes, you can search by those up here. So something like typing in the word sofa as a general term, I get 63,607 sofas. Yay. I can view them in 3D or 2D, or expand it to 3 columns or 2 columns, or also even hit the more button up here to look at more information in my search, including one very special check mark over here: show only resizable items. So if you click that button, remember I talked about changing your dimensions and such, these items are resizable. And so we could also expand this with the more button up here, is look at 4 columns up there or 6 columns up there, and the bar on the right as you're doing your search for something specific. I could also change the search. It's a Boolean search engine, so if I added an additional word to it, another adjective, if I type in like the word white, I get white sofas, coffee table, round, glass, metal. Keep it simple. Or specific SKU numbers if it happens to exist. It's a matter of what was created with that model, what data is associated with it. So it's limited, but still very powerful for your search to narrow down your scope to something specific. You also have in here plants. I have the word plants. We get plants out there. Accessories, books, curtains, window treatments, rugs. Yeah. Many items that you're going to be searching for over here for sure. Now, beyond those general items, you also have access to brands. As I said, there are other business enterprise accounts that are clients of Floorplanner. They have chosen to share their model pieces with our Floorplanner community. And like something like Ethan Allen, we can go into Ethan Allen's furnishings inside there, viewing their items in 2D or in 3D. And there are different subclassifications of their pieces. These are real products. These are live, and you'll find many of these having material changes options inside there. I think you'll find that interesting. There's also a view store button with each one of those objects or items so that you can gain more specification information about that piece through their websites, including e-commerce as to how to go to their companies for purchasing. Obviously, a marketing endeavor for them, and certainly a benefit to all of us that we have the opportunity to work with their particular products out there. Next tag down is the Styleboards. Again, I'll leave this to you to investigate for right now. Finishes and materials, colors, which are paints, or materials, which are the material library inside Floorplanner. Colors, different paint companies in the pull-down menu over there in Europe: Dulux, Pure and Original. Here in the US, Benjamin Moore, Sherman-Williams. Certainly, we could go to Benjamin Moore. Benjamin Moore has different paint collections, historical colors. Find yourself a color range, grab a color, drag and drop onto your wall and paint either side of the wall. There's a little white circle to fill with the color. Hold your shift key while you drag the paint in onto the wall or into the room. With a shift key depressed, it will paint all the walls inside the room. This also shift key also applies to putting materials, wallpapers, etc., on one wall or multiple walls. That being said, if you go to the real quick, custom material paints. There's a limited list of paints inside Floorplanner, although they're very powerful. Maybe you have another company. So if you have a specific other paint company, a fan deck color, if you Google search the paint company and the fan deck color in Google, and you go ahead and ask for the hex number, HEX, hex, that's the color code mix for that particular paint color. You can enter that in the search window in the upper right, left-hand corner, excuse me, and go ahead and have Floorplanner custom mix the paint for you. And those paints can also be favorited with these little eyes over here in the corners, including your custom paint colors for future use. You can have them inside your favorites library of materials and finishes. And once you create any favorites for yourself, there's that little heart up there, which will be your storage area for any of those favorites. You can also favorite objects, furniture, puppy dogs, T-Rexes, dinosaurs. Yes, you can. Materials. Materials would be options of wood, carpet, stone, tile, wallpaper, outdoor materials, grass, roofing materials, garden materials, pavers, water, build a lake if you want to, grass with daisies, etc. Water. Yes, there are swimming pools, and swimming pools are actually in your objects library. So don't have to think of objects as just furniture. There's three-dimensional objects, but resizable swimming pools with coping around them are available. If you want to see your exports, the images that you actually create inside Floorplanner, your two-dimensional plans and beautiful camera views, you can go back to the dashboard, leave the project, or while you're still inside the project, go down to the Exports tab. And over here, once we create some images for this particular project, which is empty so far, you can actually preview them here. You don't have to leave the project. You'll see the preview images. You can click on them. You can view them. You can say, I love that image. I need a copy of it from the cloud. You can download a copy to your device. Or you hate the image and you never want to see it again, you can trash it. You can delete it from here. You can make those determinations. There's also down here on the left-hand side a help button, help. It's an abbreviated list of the shortcuts and hotkeys for your keyboard, although I prefer to print out the document that we talked about from the editor manual that you can get downloaded from our website. It's a little bit more descriptive than this list, and I think you'll find that handy, but this is a nice quick reference. Lower left-hand corner down here is metric or feet and inches, your imperial dimensions. You can hop between those. There's a tape measure command in the lower left-hand corner. If you select the tape measure command, sure enough, I can left click and just drag out a temporary measuring device. These are not permanent dimension lines, but if I want to get the dimensions between furniture, maybe between my sofa and the coffee table, making sure it's 18 inches, etc., you can do so here. There is a setting for this real quick. 2D settings tab. If you're looking at those very small dimensions to show, trying to get down to that 18 inches and such, there's a setting for 2D in your dimensions tab up here. And it says show short dimensions. If you turn that little toggle switch on, you will find that when you utilize your tape measure command, you're getting the smaller dimensions, 5 inches, 4 inches, etc. Might come in handy as maybe trying to get that exact distance, like I said, between a sofa and a coffee table's front face, etc. If you ever want to get out of a command inside Floorplanner, like we're in the middle of the tape measure command right now, you can hit the back button up here. Yet Floorplanner, like other software programs, the escape key is extremely powerful. If we hit the escape key, we're out of the command, as I just did. These buttons in the left-hand corner, last ones to talk about, so you know what they are. There's a hammer for construction, the walls, doors, windows. There's an eye for the information, text boxes, dimension lines, and the furniture or the objects, the three-dimensional objects in the room. These are lock buttons. You can lock any of these in combination, change them out, that means they can't be moved. So if it gives you a security confidence to say, I'm nervous that I'm going to move the structure for some reason by accident, you can lock it or the furniture, etc. I choose not to use these. They slow me down. Yet if they give you a level of security while you're working, go for it. Please do remember to unlock them if you're trying to make a change. You make it a little frustrating going, why can't I change those furniture pieces? Because they're locked. So be cautious of that. Enough said about all of our tools on our screen. Thank you for your patience. Let's build something. Now I'm going to trace a background. Again, don't have to trace a background. I think you're going to see the value to it. But remember that once I start building walls and such, everything I'm showcasing with you, with the exception of using the guide of the trace background, is something you could do without a background. So let's build one. Let's go to the build command in the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to upload a two-dimensional floor plan. You got to find a JPEG PNG image somewhere on your computer. I got that first condo building that I showed you from Florida, got it from a real estate agent's website, put it on my computer. It's still on my computer. It's a JPEG image as a floor plan. And there it is right there. So I'm going to click it from my computer and say, open this JPEG image inside Floorplanner. A little circle goes twirling around up here and it deposits itself inside Floorplanner. Now, if you're counting my little blocks in the background, you're going to tell me, Bob, this room is not 5 feet wide. No, it's not. So you need to scale this image. You always have to. Very important that you scale it before you do anything else. To scale this image, it's a flat image, to be real world scale 1:1, 1 foot equals 1 foot, which is how we work inside Floorplanner. You just need to know the known dimension from one point to a second point. Okay. From one point to a second point. So if I had dimension lines on this document, it'd be point to point. If I had an architectural scaling block, it'd be point to point. If I had either of those, that would be great. I don't have either. So I need something else. It's telling me that the room is supposed to be 11 feet wide from drywall to drywall surface. Okay, let's take advantage of that. 2 points. Hit the edit button. I'm going to edit this image and hit the scale background button. And now it wants the 2 points. Draw on the canvas. I'm going to left click on the drywall edge on this 1 point, go across to the other side to the second drywall edge, second point, 1, 2 points. How big is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be 11 feet. If I type it in as 11 feet and hit enter, boom, huge background plan. Yay, it's real world scale. We're there. We can take our dimension tool down, that my actual tape measure, and we could actually measure that out just to proof it if you want to double check it. But we're pretty cool. This is good. I'll hit the back button. I'm basically done. Giant plan, real world scale, 1:1. Hasn't done any magic 3D about itself yet. I could go to my objects tab at this point and start putting furniture straight away right on top of it. So if I type in sofa to go start searching for sofas and find myself something that looks similar to my client's existing sofa, I could left click on it and drag it inside my plan in a two-dimensional view and drop it. Now, if I'm done with the window, any of the windows on the left-hand side, just click on it a second time and it will park it out of your way so you have your whole workspace here. I can zoom in on this with my zoom command, and there's my sofa. I'm starting to get a sense of scale about that particular room. I can select that sofa. And when it's selected over here on the left-hand side, I can go to the settings tab. Every time you see a gear inside Floorplanner, it takes you to additional settings. So settings, width, depth, height. I could change the width of the sofa. I didn't want an 87-inch sofa. It looks like this, 3 cushion, etc. But I wanted an 82-inch sofa. 82-inch, great. And maybe the seat on it is more like 36 inches. So I could change it to 36. And I could even change the height accordingly. That has been resized. Done. 3D. I can take that sofa and I put it into position. I can select the sofa, and I can also, with the bar, the edit buttons up in the bar right above it, I can duplicate the sofa. I could stretch it with the free scaling feature, although I'd rather enter the dimensions. I can rotate it both directions 90 degrees. I can flip it left and right. Maybe there's a chaise end on one end and I want it on the other end. I could flip it front and back, or I could hit the delete key up there. Let's delete an item. You also have the fin down at the bottom to rotate it to something other than 90 degrees. Remember, we have our undo button to put it back the way it was. I could select the sofa, I could copy the sofa, I could rotate the sofa, and I could put the sofa across on the other side of the room. Space planning, great. Now we could go to our objects and keep doing, populating other items in there. We could go ahead and look for a coffee table and find ourselves a coffee table of some sort. This little round guy up here, left click, drag, and drop it. A little small, we'll make a secondary one. Two little scatter tables, just copied it. Notice that items are snapping to each other inside here. That's kind of convenient sometimes. If you ever want the snap to not function, hold your S key on your keyboard. Holding your S key on your keyboard will stop the snap feature, just FYI. So we'll put those two down here. I also want to put in here maybe something a little bit more decorative. The really beautiful orchids and plants inside Floorplanner in the library in 3D. I'll take like a tropical plant for right now, drag and drop it in here. Now, if that plant happens to be a little too big, we could resize it. If it's an artificial plant, not something you're selling that has to be a specific dimension. So kind of fun that you can let nature conform to your design. I also want to put a bookcase in here. Bookcase. I'd like to be able to show you how to go ahead and put accessories in 3D. That bookcase, I'm not sure what's front or back, but I'm going to go ahead and just rotate it for right now, and we can always rotate it in 3D later. Book. That's our books. That's our books for accessories. Start scrolling through your accessories that are listed up here. I like the white paper wrapped books. These are nice. Drag and drop, put them on top of my bookcase. We'll put it on a proper shelf later. And at this point, that's basically my design. Black and white line drawing option, upper right-hand corner, no colors and materials. Even though I haven't built the room yet, we can do it with materials on. The blue on blue won't do anything because we haven't built a room yet. But I can have this as a document right now. So if I go to export image in the upper right-hand corner, we could send this out as an SD level project, which we are, or a little bit higher resolution. JPEG image, yes, scale to fit for the document, yet it's an SD level project. So I have the option, paid for level SD level project for a PDF. Pixel count on PDF is really cool. Go for the PDF. This is where I can change the orientation of the page. Landscape will work. Letter, ledger, architectural C or architectural D. Letter's going to fit. Of course, it's going to fit scale to fit, but scale to fit, I can take that pull down menu up there and go ahead and go to 1/4 inch scale. 1/4 inch scale, 2D, PDF, landscape, letter size, show scale bar. Turn that toggle switch on. So I get a scale bar with it also, and hit the export PDF button. That's it. Green message comes up there saying, hey, you're out into the cloud. It's going to be rendered. You don't have to wait for it. It'll complete itself in its due time, and it will be waiting for you back inside your Floorplanner exports whenever you want to go to it. We could keep working. We could turn off our computer. We could run away, get a cup of coffee. Doesn't matter, but we'll keep working for right now. There'll be preview slide windows that'll come on your screen notifying you when they're done. We're talking seconds, but we're going to keep working for right now. I can see where the walls are. So why don't we build the walls? Go to the hammer over here on the left-hand side and say draw a room. Drawing a room is from one corner to another corner, 4 walls, ceiling and floor at one time. That's the little notification saying your PDF is finished. Just comes in and goes away. Okay. But again, you're going to go ahead and we're going to drag out the square, which is all 4 walls, ceiling and floor at one time. So if I'm drawing the room, it wants to know, first of all, how thick are your walls? Interior partition walls here in the United States, 3.5 inch stud walls, 5/8 inch gypsum board on either side, 5 inches thick. Okay. How high are your walls? This is very important because your flat ceiling will be automatically created at the height of your walls. I'll make it 10 feet for right now. More contemporary room. We're done. When you're drafting your walls from corner to corner, 4 walls, we're going to drag out a square. You're drafting from the middle of the wall, not the edges of the wall. Very important. And the little circle trailing behind that intersection inside there has a diameter to it, as the size we told the walls to be, which was 5 inches. So it's a 5-inch diameter circle. If you place that inside your wall, you see it fits. Stay inside the middle of your wall and the middle of your wall here to find that intersection in the corner and left click and drag out a room. Oops, got a little sloppy there, sorry. I'm going to Extend that down. Oh, let's go backwards. Let's take that back for a second. We'll make this nice and clean for you. I just got off there. Let's go to draw room. 5 inches thick, 10 feet high. Stay inside the middle there. I just lifted my mouse for a second. So I'm going to left click and drag out the room. Yes, I'm drafting from the middle of the wall, but I am lining up the edges of the wall visually because I'm tracing a scaled background. Let go. Okay. Notice that it turned beige inside. The beige tan area means that you have a closed circuit of walls. You always want a closed circuit of walls. Very, very important. If it doesn't close, you don't have a floor and you don't have a ceiling, which will cause you some confusion as you go forward. So always close. Don't account for openings. Don't account for doors, windows, open floor plans between rooms. You can add those holes in the walls and such later. Good closed structure, ceiling and floor finished. Yet the dimensions are wrong. My interior dimensions over here should be 11 feet. I missed it by 3 7/8 inches. I can select the interior dimension over here and I can select that dimension right there and change it to be exactly 11 feet and determine which wall I want to move to make that adjustment accordingly. I can take the wall at the top and push it downward with the tab on the left. I can take the wall at the bottom, push it upward with the tab on the right, or split the difference if it's so small. I don't care. I can take the wall at the bottom, push it upward because it looks a little low with the button on the right. Great. Exactly 11 feet. Yes. And now, since I'm going to go ahead and see where the doors are, that's why I like tracing backgrounds, go to placing doors. Doors can be viewed in 2D or 3D. I can hover over top of the doors like these sliding glass doors, and I can left click and drag and drop them into my wall. They snap automatically. I can select the door as I selected the piece of furniture earlier and go to its settings if I wanted to modify it. Yet I can also stretch it visually because I'm tracing a background. And if that's good enough for you, it is certainly good enough for me. And now it's in place. Two-dimensional document. One more thing we could do with this, we could go ahead and select the room itself. Left-hand sidebar, the room type is unnamed. What kind of structure am I in the pull-down menu? I'm a house. And as a house, am I a living room, a kitchen, a nursery? These are the color blocks we talked about earlier. I'm a living room, and there's my color, and I get a little title with it, which can be rephrased if I care to. But for right now, yes, this is it. I'm done with the background. There's a shortcut hotkey to turn that background off. It's your B key. B is in background, turn it off. B key, turn it back on. That's the B key on my keyboard. So with this being said, I can see this as a black and white line drawing. I could do it with the color blocking system. I could also do it with the full color spectrum. But for right now, we're going to go to 3D. Go to the 3D button in the upper right-hand corner and hit the Zoom Extents button. And the first view is a dollhouse view, looking straight down in perspective from above. Ceiling is turned off. From here, as a dollhouse view, I can take my left mouse click and I can twirl around inside the space and start studying it and see that I did, in fact, get that piece of furniture located correctly. I had a 50-50 chance on that. And notice that the walls are disappearing between your camera and the target points that you're looking at. If you go into your 3D settings, it is called cut away walls. If I turn that off, my walls no longer disappear. Again, you're using this for a dollhouse view, setting your view for however you're trying to communicate, whatever you're trying to communicate, and you can hit the camera plus sign up here to save that camera view and render them. These are preview images. If I want to go inside this room, I'm going to hit the little walking man up there because the other one is the dollhouse view. That's your Adam-looking bird's nest. The little walking man up there is first person, takes you inside the room with your Zoom Extents button over here. We are in the room at eye level. I can use my left mouse click to twirl around inside the space to start setting what I think will be my camera setting. Now I'm using my mouse, and I'm also now using my arrow keys to arrow back, arrow forward, arrow right, arrow left, arrow keys to put myself into position and trying to just get myself and my arrow keys just where I want to be. Now, being in my 3D view, as I said, I can grab any of these items in 3D and I can move them. And they also have these grips down here at the bottom that allow me to rotate the items. I can use the arrows at the bottom to move the item orthogonally if I wanted to, including the elevation to lift the item up in the air, which comes in handy for these accessories over here that I might want to put on a proper shelf. and move them accordingly. But right now, we'll just put them on the shelf. So we're slowly trying to create our camera view at this point. Now, it's kind of lame that there's not a lot of materials inside this room. So I'm going to save this camera view because I think this camera view will do a nice rendering. So we're going to go ahead and hit the Camera Plus sign up here. Camera Plus, make sure that we are in fact first person, 5 feet 5 for my eye level, maybe use my arrow keys. Ooh, a little far back. Let's take my field of view, make it a little bit wider. And my arrow key looking down a little bit, looking nicer. Always remember to update your camera when you make changes to it. Even though your project automatically resaves, your camera views do not. So I'll hit update camera, and we've got this camera named camera 3 that we're going to go back to in a moment. But let's add something a little bit more imaginative, maybe some flooring and paint. So let's go to 2D. And let's look at putting some flooring material out there with our material finishes library and go over here to wood. Inside woods, we will look for maybe some pattern of wood. I have a planked flooring I like called Nordic. Find the Nordic and drag and drop. And maybe we'll put a paint out there too. Let's go for paints, Benjamin Moore, the blues. I like these historical colors. We'll grab that blue, hover over the wall, inside or outside, fill the white dot completely. As I mentioned, if you hold your shift key, it would have painted all the walls. Well, we got painted wall, we got some flooring material out there. Let's do a little bit more with this camera setting before we render it. First of all, I want to go ahead and rename the camera because eventually you could have 10, 15 cameras and you may not remember 1 through 15, which one is which. So the edit pencil up there, we could actually change that out and call it living room if we want to. And hit enter to change its namesake. It is a camera. It is first person. Yes, let's confirm that. And take your camera and we can slide it up and down with the rod on the left or set the eye level camera height, maybe 5 feet more for my height. And you can also take the triangle over here on the left-hand side and say, am I looking up or down? You can drag it into position. You also have the field of view, which is like a wide angle lens, which will distort your room. So be careful. If we make it too wide to capture the whole room, it's going to look like a bowling alley. It is distorting it. The walls are tilting. The furniture legs are splaying out. So you always want to try to keep your field of view as small as possible, so your walls stay nice and vertical and your legs of your furniture stay nice and clean. And it looks more magazine quality. So with those settings in there, with that combination, still being able to use my mouse or keyboard for positioning, I'm going to update my camera. Okay, update the camera. We have a couple more things to do with this particular camera. The light and scene button up there, we could go ahead and change the background scene. There's a whole variety of images that you can work with, or just the dynamic scenes that are out there. As I said, just some of the general horizon lines that we've had in the past, or all those new additional ones, which are really cool. So we've got a view selected out there. Hit our back button. Remember, as you make changes, you must always update this camera view, but we're not done yet. Midday sun. How high is the sun in the sky? Let's say that the sun's low in the sky to come through my window, maybe morning height. And also, how's my weather condition? No clouds, light clouds, heavy clouds, hurricanes, and tornadoes. We'll go for light clouds, very positive. This sun intensity, as I mentioned earlier, very, 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 very bright. It'll bleach out the room. We'll keep it very low. I like to keep, well, we'll go for like 25% or so. We can always adjust it later. And with the settings there, we have one more, is where's the direction of the sun coming from, not just the height. So it's low in the sky to come in my window. Yet the sundial on the lower right-hand corner, I can push that around and it will allow the sun to come from different directions. So you have your sun coming in your direction, hit your update camera button, and this living room camera has been updated. Let's render it. Let's go to the export image as we did for the 2D, but now we're going to do 3D. 3Ds will always be JPEG, so it'll be a 3D JPEG SD level quality. I'm going to upgrade the project. We're going to go for HD because it doesn't take much more time, a second or two. So let's go to HD, and I'm going to upgrade my project. And now it's an HD level quality image, but not current angle. Current angle is point and shoot. You moved your camera, you rendered it, you moved your camera, you rendered it. If I want to go to that specific camera that we created with all those settings associated that we updated, name it and utilize it. So in the pull down menu, we're going to actually find the camera we called living room. Select it from the pull down menu. And with it looks similar in the preview, so make sure you pick the right one. Living room, 3D, JPEG, HD level quality, and hit the export image. Green message comes up there. It's out there in the cloud and it's off and rendering. So let's go to 2D for a second. And where are those images being created? They're over here in the exports tab. There's the PDF we created earlier. The other one is still exporting. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the PDF while we're waiting. And PDFs do not give you preview images, but I'm going to double click it and take a peek. And here is the document that we created earlier mine's opening actually in Adobe on my computer. It's an 8.5 by 11 document, scale bar in the lower left-hand corner, really nice quality. Super. From there, we could just say we could download a copy of it as it's selected to the device I'm working on, or if I don't like it, I could delete it. Now, the other JPEG images will show you preview images. You just saw the fact that it was notifying you it was finished. I can select it. There it is. If I double click it, it opens up. Really nice HD level, pixel count, resolution, looking good, very true, a little bright with the sunshine. So much more we have to do. We still, on area rugs, window treatments, baseboards, skirting boards, crown molding. Yes, so much more we can build for this plan, but definitely for demonstration purposes, I think you can sense that the quality is awesome. We can always make adjustments to those light levels accordingly. I did promise you that I wanted to show you how to add a custom material. We'll do this quickly. I'm going to select this wall over here in 2D. The wall has two sides to it. So it's side one or side two. Side two looks a little wider than side one because side two is outside, has the thickness of the wall. Side one's inside. I'm going to go to the front view of that wall. Front view, you can choose a file for the custom uploads. Cool. You can still do colors and materials here too also, but for the uploads, this will be your personal library. This is my personal library. I've already done other images inside here for multiple reasons, artwork, etc. But wallpaper. I got a wallpaper sample from a website, got it from Seabrook Wall Coverings, tucked the JPEG image, put it on my computer. There it is. And I hit choose file and it's my library. To assign it to the wall, I select it as a custom image. Fills the entire wall. Pull down menu. I didn't want to fill the whole wall. Go to free. And free, like the plant, I could rescale it visually. Knowing it's a 10-foot high ceiling, I could probably guess sort of how its size and scale should be. Yet the vendor did tell me the exact dimensions that this sample represents in the real world. And Seabrook said it's 2 feet wide and 2 feet high, and hit enter. Yay. It's scaled properly. I can repeat it horizontally like a chair rail or vertically like a column or both directions for wallpaper. Go in here in the pull down menu and say tileize it in both directions. Boom. Done. Looks good. When this image looks correct and you're happy with it, just close the window to accept it. Go to 3D. Take a look and carefully, without getting you too dizzy, use my arrow keys and get ourselves into position here. And sure enough, there is our wallpaper. What's really cool about this image is that this image has a wallpaper that is not represented inside Floorplanner's material library, custom. So anything, JPEG, PNG images you want to apply to a wall surface, this is a preview image, so you know it's even going to render even more beautifully. I've kept you all for a very long time, so I appreciate your patience. Let's wrap this up with our PowerPoint presentation. And just a few points on the way out before we exit. Know that your three-dimensional model pieces in Floorplanner play very nice with each other. You can resize them, you can combine them, you can group them. So sometimes you have something you need inside your Floorplanner model that you may not have. You'd be amazed if you get creative to utilize different pieces and resize them, what you can build and kind of make a stand-in for whatever it is you were trying to work with. So they, again, play very, very nice with each other, all the different model pieces. Setting different camera views comes in very handy, utilizing multiple designs. Sometimes you didn't want something in your picture, like the dining room table in the foreground, or the chandelier, or the rug, like for this image. So I made a multiple design of the exact project just for the camera view. And I deleted those objects because it's not linked to its original. So I did not corrupt my original design. It was just for the camera. I even named the design the camera view. and was able to get this view. Comes in handy also when we start talking about distorting some of the architecture to get our camera into a specific place, to get that field of view adjusted just appropriately so everything stays nice and vertically. The wall behind the camera in this image, because this is a duplicate design, actually had to be moved back a little bit, and I didn't want to corrupt my original design. So just for the camera view, I was able to manipulate the architecture of what's behind the camera just to put my camera into place. Moving items around in 3D, if I didn't have all those additional tools that I showed you earlier to make those design decisions while we're in 3D, like artwork on the walls or resizing those pieces of artwork to get that certain look that I could only make the decision in the 3D view, the benefits, absolutely. Adding those additional architectural elements to make the room look realistic. We are a European-based platform out of the Netherlands. The skirting board on the bottom is called skirting boards. In the US, we're calling them baseboards. Crown molding that we call in the US is called coving in Europe. So look for the specific terms and you'll find them. You can resize them, scale them. Light switches, they're light switches. You can go ahead and add lights, add sort of that psychological sort of, it's a real image sort of. Mirrors reflect across the room. So please make sure that you've actually finished your decor on the other side. Lights and lamps, turn them on, lights and dimmers. I've got the sunshine coming in. It's actually behind me. So you can see this really nice natural cast of sunshine and the shadows. Recessed cam lights for the ceiling, get them closer to the walls, change their intensities. You can make these beautiful triangles of light. Last image on my way out to close out our meeting. Good image. It's a little busy, a lot of stuff going on in there. Nice perspective, nice field of view, baseboards, crown molding, skirting boards, coving, lights, recessed cans, casting on top of the furniture and everything. Yes, very, very nice. I missed something with this, and I always like to tell on myself. I missed the opportunity with the really dark floor in the foreground and that beautiful tutored window with the diamond mullions on the side. I should have had the sun coming through that architectural window to make casts of diamond shaped sunshine on the floor, across the dark floor, across the rug, going up the little martini table of high polished brass, sparkled a little bit, and the velvet chair. I missed it. This opportunity wouldn't have taken me much more time, seconds. Just I neglected it. Sorry. You don't need to neglect it as I'm sharing this information with you. It wouldn't have changed my space planning. It wouldn't have changed my design at all. Yet it would have made for a much more impactful, much more inspiring image for my first wow factor to showcase the image with my clients. So always remember that you can make those modifications, take the extra time, and just tweak it or make adjustments as you're finalizing your rendering to make the best image for your first impression with your client. Beyond what we're talking about today, so much more. The Advanced Tools webinar, know that we'll have the recording out there also for you to view, and also the live webinars that you can join me, many other details yet to talk about. Basic mission statement for Floorplanner. Since 2007, making space planning and interior design accessible to everybody. In other words, we want to keep the platform simple and it's user-friendly. It's very intuitive, although we will give you all these training venues for you. So we can help you along at the very beginning, get you comfortable, hold your hand and get you acclimated inside the platform. I think you'll find once you start touching the buttons, it's very intuitive. Yet there's a lot of new changes coming about inside Floorplanner because technology keeps changing. We have a whole new AI division within Floorplanner. So we're taking advantage of new tech. The additional modifications and changes and new tools and features inside Floorplanner, we want to give you incredible power to make even more beautiful images, which will happen kind of behind the scenes. The team in the Netherlands is handling that. But from your perspective, we want to keep the platform simple. So we're going to give you simple toggle switches, give you opportunities like these training sessions to make sure that we're communicating those to you. Again, we want to have a user experience for yourself that's easy, simplistic, intuitive, but powerful in your final results of the imagery that you're creating. So I hope you enjoyed your Floorplanner introduction and demo, a little lengthy that it was. A lot of information to cover, and I wanted to make a really good, solid recording for you to start off the year correct for 2025. Appreciate you being with me. If I missed anything, I typically support pro accounts up through enterprise, but if you need to drop me a message or a question, please do. My email address is Bob, pretty simple, bob@floorplanner.com. Again, appreciate your time, taking the time to actually view this video, and look forward to meeting you possibly at one of our live webinars, or bouncing back and checking back with us for any of these additional recorded videos. Till then, enjoy the platform, and I will catch you on our next session. Take care.